All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, time is now 5:40 my time, Arizona time. We will go ahead and get started. This is the advanced doctrine class where we do advanced studies in dissection and probing into our doctrine, Wu-Sabat, and our culture, etc. I am a student of Bahayananan. My name is, or my title is Amun Nebu. Here will be not so much doing question and answer sessions, but more or less picking a topic of interest that people that are curious about or have maybe had some difficulty with, or maybe not, and dive into it and find complete answers for our doctrine, or to our doctrine as people are asking about them. Meaning, the master teacher said he put answers throughout various scrolls, actual facts, etc. And it's up to us to get those answers, all of them, put them together to come up with one answer, which will be more complete. So right now, that's what this class has been designed for, to go through and grab pieces of answers and put them all together, which pertains to one topic, but we get, one topic at a time. Then. So with that, make sure you have all your materials ready. So we're gonna just do a small, just piggyback from last week, and that is pertaining to, we picked two topics, which was symbols, and of course, anything pertaining to Wu-Sabat or Sabian or Saba, as far as our culture goes. Those two things, and try to research them and find out where those are mentioned within our doctrine. But we kind of focused on more or less symbols. It became real interesting. A lot of people have good references now. So actually, we don't really have to piggyback because we have it's kind of it's pretty much self-explanatory as far as how we're going to be doing symbols stuff. So this is to help better your study habits as well as your teaching as well, and also learning how to study your questions. So if you do have a question, many people don't study the actual questions before they ask it, whether it be us asking or people asking us as students who are teaching. All right. So, let's just touch. Let's just touch on what we did a little bit last time. Anybody want to do a quick review or summary of what we did last time as we were approaching the end of the call?
All right, I can go ahead and recap that real quick. In the last class, last week we started with the from actual fact number 16, the birth of religion, page 12 through 16, verses 28 through 29, dealing with the three flags, which represented the Nadaru. Whenever you see the three flags, and talked about their symbolism as they being representing the sentimental winds, and how they represented Shay, or Shai, or Shaya, or Shaye, and how that three flags were grafted into the Hebrew and the Aramaic, becoming the Shin of the Aramaic or the Hebrew, and becoming the Sin of the Arabic or Sarai, and how those, and with those took us to the temple of Asset at Pau. And then from there, like I said, we got into dealing with the deity Shay, who was noted for being at funeral rites. And from there, with her connection to funeral rites, we tapped into the Egyptian Book of the Dead in the funerary text by Ani on page 14 of the Roman numerals XIV. From there, reading about who Shay or what that deity represented. And then from there, we got into, in that reading, we got into then the coming forth today, dealing with Atum Reye and his name as Tum. So Tum being the undifferentiated one, also Atum Re is the, and then we learned that Atum Re is also the incarnation of Tahuti. So with Tahuti being Atum Re, we learned that in order for Atum Re to move, we learned that as it's moving or transversing the skies, it takes on Khef Re. And Khef Re is the transformative powers of pushing Atum Re up to its highest point of Atum Re. And then some other key points that dealt with Khef Re being the scarab came from Feeding the Forces, Actual Fact number 2, page number 1, verse 2, and pages 4 and 6, which was the symbol of Khef Re being the scarab, symbolizing the month of June and symbolized as the black beetle. And also we turn back to the Book of the Dead, page 1, the actual page 1, to learn who Atum Re was in the hymn to Atum, or the hymn to the morning. And Khef Re is also at the sun at the dawn of the eastern horizon, or passing on the power of Atum Re. And with those, we went into the cycles, into page 10 and 11, and that also has a present that represented Shu or Shay, that was also found in Actual Fact number 16, the birth of religion, which is the hieroglyphic, which is a hieroglyphic of her name, which would have been written out as the Nathar sitting, the two feathers, and then you had like a flower pot. I'm going from right to left as far as I'm saying it. And they had the flower pot with like the 3 vases and like the 2 little lollipops in between it. And then we jumped from there and went into the beginning, the book The Beginning, page 267, which was talking about Tahuti, which correlates with page 14 or XIV, or the Book of the Dead, where Tahuti wrote, confirming that Tahuti wrote the coming forth by day. And one of his symbols was the weighing of hearts, and that's where we left off at.
Okay. Now, beautiful, brother. All right, so everybody else can see that it took one one thing to spark all that information. And I started with just a symbol. How the phrase goes, some symbol of many words or something like that. So one thing, that could have been anything, any question, any symbol, any statement. So, which leads to my point that we made last week, was when people ask questions, or just when we ask questions, period, because we don't study our questions, we don't really realize how in-depth the question is, or what we're really asking even. We may just be looking for one superficial answer, or there's probably many, many other things that are behind that answer, or there's other many answers, also many answers to it. And that all came from the 3 flags, the sheen of the Memphis. Okay? So everybody else that's on the call, now you can see what we mean by dissecting, studying like really dissecting, doing some surgery, okay, getting into it. And another goal of this class is to, if you say one statement or one sentence, you should be able to know everything in that sentence and be able to explain it. It would go a step further, a paragraph or one page. Before you get done with the page, you're reading a page, before you even turn to the next page or even go to the next paragraph, you should be able to teach anything within that paragraph. Okay. Last but not least, another goal of this class is to, when somebody's asking you a question, to at least be able to generate 3 references in your head. Okay? So when you're talking, you have a more complete answer. All right, so it's good. So we can start off this class in many different ways. One way is if somebody has a question about something that they always want to be able to expound on more or just didn't know, we can start off with that. Or what I do when nobody has a question, I'll just go ahead and pick another topic or pick a subtopic from what we just did last week. Because as everybody heard, there's many different things that we can actually snatch from that answer and go further into depth with them. So just open the floor. Okay. So is there anybody that had any questions or any starting points that you want to be as a topic for today that we start out with?
I got a subject, something I want to expound upon, which is Ramaz, the symbol coming out of those who are triune, from the Master Secrets, scroll number 28, pages 22 and 23.
Okay. All right. So I guess we could take. You want to just do one at a time, as far as like each separate symbol within the symbol? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, we could do that. I mean, yeah, go through each one and just kind of get other references for each symbol.
Okay. All right. So this is another way we can start it. Now that this is our second time doing the class. Well, actually third technically. This particular class. So what we normally do, as we did years ago, is we'll take that and actually do the dissecting right on the call, right here, to see what people come up with. And after, of course, a certain period of time, of course, then people can start giving references, stuff like that. So it's not just a lot of dead air. But what we could do, is if we know something kind of offhand, where you can kind of like go to the scroll and get it, we can go ahead and do that.
All right, well, one thing right offhand is that the first part of that symbol is Shamish, and we know that Shamish was also, by that also meaning sun, in our language of Sabaean or Sabatia. We also know that Shamish was also a part of a triune solar system of suns in Ilion, which you had Utu, Apsu, and Shamish. And that's spoken of in the Holy Tablets. I'm trying to find the exact page with that diagram on it. So
let's use that right there. So we're going to use that as a starting point. So we're going to start with just the sun alone. Okay, so those are on the call now, for the first time on this call, I should say. You're going to create a separate page in your reference binder, and you're just going to label it sun. Okay? We're going to label it sun. Everything we know about the sun, that we find about the sun, we're going to put it on this page. So let's do that first. So I'm going to do that. And put a sticky tab, and put, on that sticky, also put sun. I'm doing that with you right now. Now, everybody got that?
Oh.
Okay. I'm going to put sun. All right. We're just going to go from scratch. So, yes, all of us, we're all together, are going to dive into this. And one good thing about the Holy Tablets, all three editions, is you guys go to the back, or you go to the introduction, where the titles of the chapters and everything is, and you guys go to the back where the what you call this, not the glossary, but the
it's the glossary and the
figures. Yeah, right. And it will say figure something, page, so. So let's go back to page 1693, and let's start there with the figures. And like you said, the appendix, and let's go through and see where we can find anything done with the sun. Okay, so that was page 1693. So the first thing that comes to our mind, that comes to sight, is when you start from the top, starting from that first page, we know where it says the Egyptian deity Ra. figure 6, page 27. Let's go there. And just start from scratch. Just start from the very, very itty-bitty steps. And we're going to go down and do some serious dissecting. Okay, so everybody, let's go there. 27. Okay, so we have the figure right there. So in our notes, in our page, in our reference binder, underneath sun, that'll be the first entry. We're going to put page 27, figure 6. That's Reye. Oh, wow. Okay? Alright. So because this is a figure, of course, that means that there was something that was printed about this being prior to it. So let's go back a few pages to see where it was said. So we should be back like page 25 and going back. May you please announce yourself who just came in on the call so I can update you with where we are. What we're doing. Who just came in.
Rahubat Ramat Nurua Anuket Hotep.
Oh, Rahubat.
From Boston. Rahubat.
All right. Boston in the house. Okay. Okay, so we're in the Holy Tablets, chapter 1, tablet 4. We're trying to see and find Reye or Ra because his figure is on page 27. We're trying to see where he's mentioned in here. That's what we're studying now. And this tablet 4 is called The War in the Skies.
I'm going back and I haven't found Ra yet, but I did found page 17, diagram 1. That was talking what I was saying earlier about Apsu, Utu, and Shemish. There's another picture of the triune solar system of Ilium.
Oh, then with the sun. Okay. So let's write that. Let's go right to that then. So page 17, diagram 1. It mentions, the galaxy Na'alan that we used to call Ilium. Let's see. Forward a little bit. So this is what we are doing now. So as you see, for the newcomers that are on, to the newcomers to this call, there's going to be some downtime a lot in this class because we're doing research right here on the spot. So, a lot of research.
Huawei.
Oh, I found it. Okay, go to page 29. I would have been able to sleep. So page 29.
Number 45.
Chapter 1. Verse 45. There you go. Chapter 1. Tablet 4. Verse 45. So what you're going to do after that reference that's in your reference binder, put a little bullet, like a little just statement, so you get an idea of what it's talking about. Okay, so we got that. All right, good. So let's go back to the glossary, the figures on page 1693, and we'll continue. Anything these are all sun references. Anything pertaining to the sun.
Do we want to include other names of the sun, or we just want to keep it to just the basic sun and Shemish? Since we're talking about the Ramaz.
Oh no, it could be just the sun period. It could be whatever. It could be one of the 3 suns that's on page 326, 328, which is Kafri, and Klare, and Khufu, relating to the suns in Orion. It could be Apsu at page 412, which is the Shamash.
Yeah, we got Sal too. I'm looking for that one in particular.
What?
I'm looking for Sal, S-A-L, from where soul came from.
Yeah. So after about another maybe 5 minutes, we'll stop and just go through review all the references we got so far. Okay, I'm going to go to the diagrams now. So after about another 4 minutes, we'll all say what we got. All right, so let's go ahead and share what we got. If anybody wants to go first, you can. If not, I'll go first. No problem.
All right. I got from page 1687. I got the definition, which Shamash. There, the definition given of, and the Holy Tablet is a Sumerian word, which equals my son. Then I got pages 665 through 666, which is showing the movement of the sun in the in the summer equinox as well as in the winter. On the 21st of June as well as on the 21st of December. It is zenith. And then we already had page 29, verse 45 and 46, but talking about the deity Salvanus, who was symbolic of Ra as well.
All right. Did everybody get that? I need any repeats? Anybody need any repeats? Okay. So, we can also go with you asked about Sal?
Yeah, Sal was before the Big Bang, everything was one sun.
Yeah.
Sal first.
Yeah, you were asking about where it was?
Yeah, where was that at?
It's in Holy Tablets, chapter 1, tablet 6, okay, verses 31 to 44. That's, 31 to 44. That's the whole, from Sal and on with the Milky Way and all that. That's that whole explanation. Sal, that's pretty much it right there.
What?
And Sal is actually mentioned, it's verse 39. So 31 through 44. And then right before verse 39, you'll see Milky Way was formed from a massive sun called Sal, collapsing and exploding out with that whole story. So, as a repeat for everybody, that's chapter 1, tablet 6, verses 31 through 44 of Sal. For those who are just coming in, our topic right now today is still the symbols, but one symbol that we're homing in on is Shamash, sun. And anything pertaining to sun in general, though. Okay, so it could be Orion's bell, it could be this, it could be that. Okay. So right now we're in the Holy Tablets, chapter 1, tablet 6, verses 31 to 44. And the brother just gave a reference from page 665 to 66, movement of the sun, as well as in the glossary, page 1687, they mention Shamash as my son. The next one we can go with, I'll give another one. We could go with, we already said in there, chapter 4, which is on page 412. Let's go there. Page 412. You see the being on figure 137. Apsu. Like Utu Apsu Shamash, because Apsu was also called Apsu. That's a P as in Paul, Apsu. see. This will be chapter 4, page 412, figure 137. That's Apsu. And that's mentioned in verse 3. And Apsu, the son, which is the first one, that begot them both. Them meaning the skies and the earth. That's from verse 3. Chapter 4, chapter 1, verse 3. Apsu or Apsu? Anyone need repeats? Okay.
No.
Okay. We also have, if you go to page 314, and after this we'll have somebody else share. On page 314, we're going to start with the figure first, which is figures 112 through figures 115. Page 314 to 328. That was mentioned the three great rays. Kufu Kafreye and Mkaheye, linking up to, well actually, let's say this correctly. On page 316, diagram 24, it shows how the shafts are linked up to the star systems, or the sun systems, Sirius, Orion, Amentet, Ursa Minor Major, Bane, Draco, etc. And how they're linked up to the three stars in Orion's belt, three suns. Let me go back to that chapter 3, tablet 5. Chapter 3, tablet 5, verses, I guess we'll start with, the three pyramids in Giza were originally built by Adafa. That's on page, that's verse 13. And so talking about Khufu. 13 on to, I guess pretty far. Let's start on page 13. Verse 13. Let's see, we have a lot of information on that. 13 all the way to the third pyramid, which would be on verse 56. Yeah. So verse 13 through 56, which mentions the third pyramid, which deals with the third star or sun. So I'll stop there. Anybody else? You can go ahead. Next person that share the information. Okay, I guess we'll move on. Anybody else? This is the second round, as we call. We're going to go back around and see if anybody has any additional, take a second term and give more additional information. Anybody? Okay. We could also go to chapter 3, diagram 32 and 33, pages 335 and 336. Hey, did y'all do that? Yeah, it's the same thing pretty much. I'm still doing a divine reference. Well, as far as the diagrams go, good visuals, pages 335 and 336 of the stars of Orion and how it's linked to the pyramids. That's diagram 32 and 33, pages 335 and 336. Those are diagrams of the helical rise of the Orion's belt, as far as like when the sun is hitting the pyramids, depending on what part of the day it's pointing or you're lined up with Orion, and on the horizon you may see the periods. That's on those two. and even diagram 34 as well, and on. Okay. So for this next segment that we're getting into, this is a role play that we started last Wednesday. So now we're taking your notes that we had, the references, and we took time to go to each one so we could see what it says. We're going to do some role play. Create a scenario where I'll be the person that is, the scenario will be you are teaching in your class, or you all are out and about propagating at your table. Then I'll be acting like the stranger asking you questions. With using the references that you have now, just for the sun alone, do you have enough data to teach a class as well as propagate, as far as talk about this particular and discuss this particular subject? So what I need to do is, this exercise, the objective of this is to act as one. So we have, how many people? Let's see how many people. Yeah. So there's 4 people on this call. So using those references, you're going to act as one, meaning if there's like 2 or 3 people teaching a class together or propagating together, when one person stops, the other person should come right in, like as if you all are one voice. There should not be no long pauses. So if I'm talking and you hear me pause, the next person should come right in and keep on adding on additional information. The next person, come on. All right, so you'll be as one. So you get to flow at the same time, pretty much, one after another. So that's the goal. So as you're answering the questions, I may stop you, and I'll say next person, and then the next person just jump right in and continue. All right. So by now you should have all your references for the sun that we just went over, and you should have whatever particular scroll you had open, which we use the Holy Tablets to start as a start. You take this time to put whatever, like pencils or the markers, you can have it to stick to as you're going through your references. Go ahead.
Sort of me.
Yes.
Yeah, being the fact that I just got on not too long ago, I have been taking down notes and turned up the pages and stuff, but I'm still not connected with what you're talking about. So can you not include me for this role play here?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I definitely wouldn't put you. I wouldn't put you on the spot and call your name out. Okay, come on. I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay.
And you're like, no, I wouldn't do that.
Okay.
If anything, you could. Once we get done, we'll go back and do a review of, at the end of the class, we'll definitely review everything that we did. You can have.
Okay. Well.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the scenario is, last time this scenario is where you were outside propagating. Person's locked up. This scenario is you're in a classroom setting, and I am a student from MIT, and I'm coming up to you, asking questions. Okay. So the key is MIT. That shows you what type of person I am. I already have some scientific knowledge on certain things, general knowledge, but still coming from a college standpoint. So, I want to give it away. So we'll just go right there. So, first and foremost, let's see. Okay, so I could say I have the question, and I'll say, so the sun, it gives us energy and life. What are some other names for the sun? And what the sun used as other things in other cultures? And go.
Oh, say that one more time. Say that one more time, bro, so I can jump in.
Right. This is how sometimes people will ask questions, especially on a college campus. It's a little technical. I know this, what was the sun called in other languages and cultures, and what did they use them for? 'Cause I know there was other meanings behind it and other uses and associations. Could you help me with that?
Yeah, I most certainly can, brother. Check it out. Now, in our language and in our culture, we refer to the sun as Shamash. That's Shamash. So no matter whether you say it forward or backwards, it's going to be the same word, which is just like the sun, as it being the life force and the giver of life. It's just the sole ruler of this galaxy, which we are on this planet of Earth for. So now, and like I said, in our language, we call it Shamash. Now, some of the things about our sun, which as Egyptians or as Tamarayans of old, we refer to the sun as Ra or Re. That was another name of it. And also, Re was also the name of the head deity. Similar to, like, if you looked at the president having the highest position in the land, the deity Re was the highest ranking deity amongst the deities. So his symbol was the sun as well, to show that he had the absolute power. Now, also with that, if you want to walk with me through this book, I'm going to show you a picture of Ray. See, here he is. He's a Nubian. He's a black man, because we know that we came with the original creation. So we groomed everything through nine ether forces. So the sun itself came forth as a result of nine ether energy. But I don't want to go too far into nine ether. I just want to keep you on the sun for a second. Now, you were asking about other cultures and about ours, and as far as what does the sun actually represent? But if you look up in the sky right now, think about it. If it wasn't for the sun, there would be no life as you know it. The sun dictates and governs everything in this solar system. We all revolve around it. So it is the axis, or the nakut is a word we used to use in the Islamic days, or the nakut, which is meaning the dot, the point of existence from which everything else flows. You yourself, you are a nakut, or you are the center axis of everything that goes on around you, right? So in essence, you yourself are a sun, and even within inside of you, there is a sun, which is called a solar plexus, which is symbolic and is linked to the sun that is outside of the planet that you have also inside of you. Now, we have another name for that, which we...
Stop. Next person. Go. Pick up. All right, keep on going, brother. You can continue. Tahuti, hello.
Okay, and as I was saying, I thought the other brothers were going to say something. But as I was saying, just like you have a sun in you called a solar plexus, this is also the reason why you have what they call soul. And that's coming from the same word, which is soul, S-O-U-L. It's coming from the same word, S-O-L, for soul, meaning sun. So inside of you is a sun. And there is no coincidence that you being a male are called a sun. So the S-U-N and S-O-N are both intertwined and interwoven into their force that is a giver or a creator of life, or a reckoner and a governor of all life. And that's all I'm going to go with that.
And that's one jump in? All right, that was good, bro. That was good. So, as we can see, just by the references that we have, using one of them, two of them, three, however many you want to refer to, it triggers a whole lot of data and information to come through. And that was one of the main objectives. That is one of the main objectives of this class. That was good. For example. So, the other people that came on, there was a reference from Holy Tablets, Chapter 1, Tablet 6, verses 31 to 44. Just backtracking. You had page 665 to page 666. The movement of the sun. We have page 1,600 87, which is the definition of shamash. That's in the glossary. And we'll stop there and give some more later on throughout the class. So this next exercise, it's the same thing, but now you're going to be talking to a different person. So you have to kind of alter and change how you answer the person. Still using the data, but you're still going to be using the references that we have, but you're going to have to teach in a certain way, adapt your teaching to the person. All right, and here we go. How y'all doing? I just came from the temple, and we worship Buddha, and we just want to know more information about the sun and everything, and what you all's view on it is, what your take on it is, so I can use this information, take it back to the people in my temple, and spread the information. And somebody new, go. Just use your common sense.
Right back.
Right back. Want to give it a try?
Yeah. I wanted to ask a question again. This is Kanum Ray for Memphis, Tennessee.
All right, Kanum. All right, right back.
Right back. What was the question again?
The scenario was that you all were in class teaching, and I came to ask a question, but I'm a Buddhist, and wanted to get some information from what, this is the role play we're playing. I'm a Buddhist. I wanted to get some information from y'all about the sun, what your views on the sun, so I could take it back to my temple and share it with them. But based on the references that we just had, we were using those to help us answer the question based on the knowledge that we already had on the sun. So we were doing role play as you just came in.
Yeah, I kind of missed I kind of missed the details. I just heard some mash and a couple. Well, I just listened because I kind of missed the details.
Okay. Does anybody want to give it a try?
You said you studied Buddha, brother?
Yes. And I wanted to share it with my temple.
I have a question.
So, if you could just hold on for just 1 second, because we're doing that exercise right now. So if you're done with the exercise, we can dive right into your question. Okay, so we'll pause right there. We'll use this as a pause time in class. So one thing that we can do, one of the many things, and that is to, I always ask that person, that's one thing master teacher always taught us, when you're propagating or teaching, find out about the person first. Yes, okay, I will be a Buddhist. Okay, but because we're not Buddhists, find out about that, what is he, what do they do, what are their customs, what are their habits and interests, and I'll give you, more information and data on helping you formulate how you're going to approach this. So, this, like I said, this is just a way, not the way, but just a way that really has helped me on my short journey. And asking the person how. So I would say, first of all, what's your name? And if they give you the name, ask them what it means, because now you know who you're talking to and where their understanding is going to go. You kind of know where they're going to be going. What type of answer they're looking for, Next thing will be, where they from, because if they're from a remote, distant place up in the mountains, their view on the sun is going to be very different. So you may give them all this information and data, they might just go through right over his head because they're looking at the sun from a different point of view, not from the city or rural area. They're looking at it from, way up in the, they'll probably live up in Nepal, way up in the mountains somewhere, So their approach to everything is going to be very different, maybe. So that's one good thing you could do. And by that person giving you feedback, that's helping you, like, oh, okay, now I see where I can come at it from, That makes sense?
I will.
Okay. So I'll ask it again.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready now? I'm ready now. I'm ready. All right, so same scenario. So for those that just came in, you all are teaching at your floor, and I'm a Buddhist. I'm walking in and I say, hey, I have a question about the sun. I heard you all have a lot of good information. Could you share some information with me about the sun and how it's related, in other cultures? How do they view it? That way I could take this information and take it back to my temple to share it.
Okay, well, first I need to get some clarification. Are you referring to that big ball that's 93 million miles away from here that's constantly turning hydrogen to helium? Or are you referring to a specific deity that the sun is used as a representation for, as a force?
I'm talking about the sun that you can see right there. If you can see me pointing, that's shining right now, giving us daylight.
Okay, well, in your tradition of Buddhism, what do you all know about the sun? Because I'm pretty much gonna assume that we're gonna come to the same conclusions about the sun by the time you get through answering.
We take it as that's an expression of the masters, and it's an expression of love that gives life.
Okay. Well, but you're saying that it's an expression of love that gives light. Do you all have a name that you refer to this expression of love and light, or you just call it the sun?
I guess in English it would just be called the sun, translated, yes.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that you're not talking about Surya, which is the deity, the god of the sun, as far as in your tradition. You're just talking about just the plain sun up there, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, we view this, like I said, we pretty much view it the same way, you know what I'm saying? In that regard, I would have to agree with you that it is a symbol of love and of life and of light. And with that, through the light and through that love, creation has come about. So I can share in that same sentiment with you, but I would take it a step further and say that it is the ultimate ruling force of this solar system and of this planet, because without their sun, we would all cease to exist. And so in that is love. So that's love on another level, because it loves, and the sun shines, as they say in the Bible, and it says it shines on the just and the unjust, like it rains on the just and the unjust. So that sun being there is a physical representation of the spiritual love that we are all being given and granted with by the fact that it's there, and it's being it's not being biased in who is going to shine upon and who is not. It's governing everything and keeping the balance and the order.
And stop. Good. That was good. So once again, we just proved right now that just by getting a little bit of background information, we could answer them completely, like nothing's different. And that's what this was proved, because earlier it stunned y'all a little bit. It's like, oh, wait a minute, okay, But just now you see the power behind we see the power behind just getting background information. Now it's a little bit more personal now. You got a little bit more into the, not just their religious beliefs, but you got into more of the personal, their religious belief is going to govern their personal things, view on things, on and on and on. That was good. That was good. All right. So let's take a pause real quick. What we're going to do now, like I said, we're just doing different exercises because as you see, all these little things, that one small little thing opened up a whole door of knowledge. Or, no, I should say an opportunity, open up another opportunity for us to actually teach comfortably. So we're going to be doing more and more exercises like this. So everybody, let's go back. We're going to do a review, but it's going to be in question and answer format. I'll ask the question, and I'll just take turns. I'm going to ask each individual person. Don't get nervous if you don't know your verse and title and this and that. Just use your common sense. And what's going to happen, before we move on to the next person, we're going to make sure that question gets asked. Because I'm going to drill you as if like somebody on the street, that some ignorant person on the street is going to drill you. So don't get mad. If anything, laugh, because this is practice. That's what this class is. It's a practice class. So when you go out, you'll be like, oh, you'll just laugh at that person when they start drilling you. You're like, oh, okay, and you'll just laugh. All right, so we're going to start with our first reference. I'm trying to go in page order. We went to the holy tablets for the sun that Fahuti Hara took us to. I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go to chapter 1 in your holy tablets. If you're doing it online, we'll wait. I know some people have it on their, their pads or computer, whatever. So holy tablets, chapter 1, page 17, diagram 1. Yeah, this is the one for which you halal did. So we're still in the scenario of we're all in the class. You all are teaching. You are actually going to this page to, explain to the crowd, what's going on. So, but I'm the one who's asking the question. So I'm going to be purposely stopping you, because I'm going to say, if you don't explain something, I'm going to stop you. Because the goal of this exercise is to, if you say a word that's kind of like off of the topic of what is being asked, which is the sun, or if you say a word that's not explained, I'm going to purposely stop you. I'm going to cut you off. So I just don't want you to get mad. I'm just imitating how a person would do sometimes. Okay? All right. So, can anybody, if somebody new, well, first let me back up. Is there anyone that doesn't have the holy tablets?
I don't, so I'm trying to look it up.
That's okay.
Right now.
That's okay. So you got the reference we just gave, right?
I have the reference. I don't have. Excuse me.
Okay.
I don't have the home. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. We must have a delay. You go ahead.
Yeah, what I was saying is I don't have the holy tablets, but I did write down the references.
Okay. And you did hear the rest. Okay, you got it. Okay, good. All right, so
Sabbath, I'm driving right now.
Yeah, a little bit louder.
And then I also don't have the holy tablet. I'm actually driving right now.
Oh, okay.
I had to run out half of it. I have it written down. I'm actually on the way there.
Okay, that's fine. All right, so I'm asking the question from the class. You all talked about suns in the advanced doctrine class. Can you explain how this relates to the topic of sun? Because it's saying the great galaxy Ilion. Could you please help me understand why you took me to this page? I just want some understanding. And the first question, go.
All right, the reason why I took you to this page was because you see there are the three sons, Utu, Apsu, and Shemish. And those three sons there, they are part of a tri-solar system known as Ilion. Now, the counterparts to those would be the sons Al-Nitak, Al-Nilam, and Mentaka, which are the three stars of Orion's belt, which link to the three great pyramids of Egypt, of Giza, per se, which was by...
Can I interrupt you for a second, your brother? Can you tell me what language those 6 names were in?
Okay, Utu, Apsu, and Shemish are Sumerian, from the Sumer, from the people from Sumer or Shumer, and Al-Nitak, Al-Nilam, and Mentaka are all Egyptian.
Okay, where's Sumer?
Sumer, the land of Sumer or Sumeria, was what we would call today, used to be the old land of what we would call today the Persian Gulf, which would be the Middle East, which would include Iraq, Iran, the Arabian Peninsula, all those countries there. That was all at one time called the land of Sumer, for where the Sumerians and that civilization came from. So you had that whole civilization, which were to our east of Africa, and they had a similar doctrine to that of the Egyptians, being that, for instance, their Most High was called Anu, whereas in Egypt the Most High was called Re or Ra. So when you're doing the comparison, you see a lot of equivalences because they spoke a certain dialect and they had a certain language which was similar, because the Egyptians and the Sumerians used to do a lot of trade and they used to do a lot of mixing. So therefore, over time, with these mixing of these two different classes of people or of beings, that helped to produce certain things. Now, have you heard of the beings called the Anunnaki?
No. Maybe please.
Okay, well, the Anunnaki, if you go back and research, you can go Google this, you can look up the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki are the Sumerian equivalents to the Egyptian Natharu, or to your biblical Elohim, or to your Quranic Allahumma, or to your Native American Kachinas, your heavenly hosts, your angelic beings, basically these beings who came to the planet, but they settled. And when they came to the planet, they settled in this specific region, whereas other beings settled in other regions. But the point is, going back to the sons, though, the reason why I took you here is to show you that with Utu, Apsu, and Shemish, those three sons, like I said, we bring them back. You can see them. You can see them symbolically through Al-Nitak, Al-Nilam, and Mentaka, which is Orion's belt, the three stars in Orion's belt, which also link back to the three pyramids of Giza, which also links to our three great sons in Egypt, which we called Atum-Re, Atum-Re, and Amun-Re. Now, I know you're familiar with Amun, or Amen. Whenever you close out a prayer, you hear people say Amen, right? Okay, so in Egypt, Amun-Ra was really was one of the highest deities. So he was like one of the chief deities. And so in this over here with the Utu, Apsu, and Shemish, if I'm not mistaken, Amun-Ra would be equivalent with Shemish and not with, because Apsu would be equivalent with Atum-Re, and Utu would be equivalent with Atum-Re. So the symbolic uses of the three sons has showed up in all cultures, in a lot of different cultures, in a lot of different time periods. But we're in essence still talking about the same or similar groups of beings that came from a similar place. Do you follow me with that?
Got you. Stop right there. That was good. So this proves another point, and this is another reason why these exercises are necessary. In the beginning of the classes, we always make an introduction to say that one of the goals or targets of the class is to, if you say a sentence or statement, at any given time you should be able to explain every word that you use in that statement or sentence or whatever. Because at any given time, somebody can ask about that one word in that statement or, two words, any word in that statement. And that's what was happening. So the next thing that someone can ask is, okay, what does utu and apsu mean? And we would say what? If we don't know, just say we don't know.
Okay.
The momentum going.
Okay, now if you're asking about apsu, I'm going to direct you to, we're going to walk over here to page 411 to verse 3. And it says, and Usu, the son, which is the first one that begot them both. And this is talking about, I'm going to start from the top and read down to 3. So it says, lo, when the Rakia, or the skies, above not his name, nor was the earth below, which then was pronounced by the name Tiamat, and Apsu, the son, which is the first one that begot them both. Which meaning they're saying that due to the sun had to exist first because it begot the skies and the earth. So the sun had to exist before anything else could come into existence. So the word, go ahead. You got a question?
So what will be the definition of Apsu in the Sumerian language that you said?
Okay, the word Apsu, Apsu means the primeval abyss or the sun. That's what it means.
Stop. Right. Good. So we'll stop right there. We're just doing, when we take these pauses, these are the pauses just to review everything. So as you see, there's so much data being relayed. Okay. So Apsu, Sumerian, the primeval abyss, the sun. So this will be a good opportunity. That was good, brother, once again. This will be a good opportunity to just take a break in the class and get back to the cross-referencing. So what in Egypt will be the equivalent to Apsu, which means the primeval abyss? We know it as a dual name. Go ahead.
Nun and Nun Tat.
Yeah, Nun Tat and Nun. So let's do our journey of cross-referencing. We're going to go to Existence How and Why, Actual Facts number 36. So once again, for those who don't have it, it's okay. I know some people are driving and this and that, so don't worry about it. We will give the references. Let me see. Existence How and Why, Actual Facts number 36. We're going to go to page 37, verse 99. So once again, those that are taking the references down. Page 37, verse 99, or in Existence, How and Why, Actual Facts number 36. Now, there's many other references, but this is just one of the many. So, it says, also with the ingredients needed for various forms of life here or transported here from other worlds, various things for life on the surface was given to Earth while it was growing in the primeval chaos of Nun and Nun-Ted. And when the Earth's surface was ready, this is why you read in the Bible, and this is another reference, Genesis 1, verse 2, where it says, and the earth, Hebrew Strong's 0776, Eretz, land, or as we know as Tanun. And the earth was without form. The word form was tohu, which means formless, which would be he. And void, Strong's number 0922, bohu or buhu, which means emptiness. That word will be equivalent to niao. And darkness, Strong's number 02822, koshek in Hebrew. Darkness, that will be keket kek. And then it says was upon the face of the face, panim, face in Hebrew. So let's go back to that again. So the primeval chaos, which would be equivalent to Apsu or Apsu, so with the F as in Frank or P as in Paul, would be the primeval chaos, Nun Tad Nun. Okay? And then once again, that reference was Genesis 1:2. So when you read Genesis 1 verse 2 and go down, each one of those words actually is a set of stages of darkness in darkness, or those triad of beings, those dual beings that was representing stages of darkness on the etheric side. So it was really one essence with two principles. So it was nun-tat, the feminine, but the masculine principle of that would be nun. Okay, so that would be the primeval chaos, Genesis 1:2. So it says, and the earth was without form. The word in Hebrew was tuhu. So without form or formless, that word right there, like formless or without form, that will be the second stage of darkness, or another chamber of darkness, which would be he. And then where it says, in the Bible it says emptiness, and it says and emptiness, the word emptiness, that would be niaut wu niao, and as in Nancy, I-A-U-T as in Thomas, and then the partner would be niao, just take off the T, niaut wu niao. And then where it says, and darkness was upon the face of the earth, the word darkness, that will be what we call kefkat kek, or kuktat kuk now, as we say. So for each stage in the Bible, as the emptiness, formless, darkness, all those were actually different stages in darkness. When we say darkness, we're talking about pre-hydrogen. So now you got xenons, fermions, biraps, Zelis, Zebis, going back to where things had no sum, but yet they were particles, yet not registered on the physical plane. These particles expanded and contracted. These particles also spun on an axis, just like our planet has an axis that spins. And the type of axis that it has was also on a certain angle. And these particles that spin, the whole action of it is what in science they call partiki. P-A-R-T-I-K-I, I think. Partiki. Partiki, P as in Paul. Partiki. Okay? So this is what we call this, they call this the subatomic, on and on and on. So this is what we're talking about when we're saying Apsu. We're also talking, when we're saying Apsu, or Apsu, when we say primeval abyss, that takes us to a whole other thing. That primeval is actually the marker that tells us the particulars of that essence. So now we know it's not just a state, it's also represented by beings as well. And these beings have a duality. They have a feminine nature and also a masculine nature. Make sense so far, everybody? Okay. So just the key thing that we want to remember from that, as Ahuti Hara was building on, Apsu, that would be Nun Tet Nun, which would be one of the four stages of darkness, going back into ether. Bible, Genesis 1:2, that describes the other states, emptiness, darkness, void, that describes the other one. Now, here's the catch, and we'll stop here and get back into the momentum of the class. Niaut Wu Niao became Amun Tat Amun. I'll say that again. Niaut Wu Niao, which represented what state? Emptiness. So that emptiness became, if you turn the page over to page 38, became Amun Tat Amun. So where it said the Spirit of God hovered over the deep, in Genesis, that was Wu-Nuwapu becoming Amun Tat Amun. So that was Amun hovering over the deep. In the Sumerian story, if you refer to, like we did last time, once again, the previous doctrine, Wu-Nuwapu study number 27, story of Re, page, I want to say, maybe like page 4, if I'm not mistaken, it talks about the same equivalency you could cross-reference with the Sumerian doctrine, and one particular Ina Anuna, prior to coming to earth, Anuna, and that will be Nebu or Enki or Ea. And that was him in his craft coming down to terraform the planet. So in more detail, this will be Nun-Namnir or Ea, because he wasn't called Enki quite yet, until he was given the assignment and permission to come down and terraform. So Enki got permission from his mother Id and had him built a great craft that we used to call Nikugur. That's N-E-G-U-R-G-U-R, Nikugur. And in that Nikugur, there was many different Nis or Misons. Okay? And this is the story where he planned to terraform the planet along with a helper that would be known as Nin Pursag or Nin Karsag, that we know as Memphis. So this is the same story to the Anunnaki as the same story to the Muntaru as Amun Tat Amun. Everybody get that before we move on? Anybody want me to repeat anything? So the cross references, let's go back. We just went from the Holy Tablets, diagram 1, and let me go back. Page 17, diagram 1, the Ilion Galaxy, which would be chapter 1, tablet 2, and that diagram is after verse 49. And then the brother took us to the glossary, Apsu, meaning the Sumerian, the primary abyss of the sun. That was on page 1660. We found the equivalency in actual facts, existence, how and why, number 36, page 37, verses 99. The Egyptian equivalency. But also in that, we had a reference Genesis 1:2 that gave us the biblical or the Torah equivalency. And then when we turn the page over to page 38, still in existence, how last passage number 36, still in verse 99, we found out that this Wu-Nuwapu became Amun Tat Amun. So this would be the face of God hovering over the deep waters, this Amun, which would be the same or equivalent, similar to, I should say, Enki hovering over with his craft that we call the Nikugur. That was mentioned in the Wu-Nuwapu study 27, story of Risk, page 3. So once again, we proved the point once again that one thing, one question, one thing can trigger a whole amount of data information. That's why it's important when people are asking us questions, we have to also teach people how to study their questions. Because that one thing can lead to a whole bunch of different things. You can be giving them information that it may just go right over their head because even though they may not know, people may not know a answer, they're still looking for a particular type of answer, subconsciously. So we have to make sure we ask them a series of questions to make sure we know where they're coming from. That way, with our references, we know what to choose and pick to give them their answer. Before we move on, do we have any questions? Any repeats?
Give me that reference from existence, how, and why again.
Oh, yeah. Page 37, verse 99. I like using that reference. I always did, because that gives the Kamarean or Pamarean titles, as well as the Hebrew titles as well, and then as well as the biblical titles, English titles. So it gives like three things in one. So that reference has always been very helpful to me. Oh, I have to. I also got to follow what I relayed or teach. So I have to give references what I said. Patarak, chapter 4, page 9, verse 58. That mentions the subatomic particles I was mentioning. Fermions, bosons, leptons. That's Patarak, chapter 4, page 8, verse 58. Page 9, verse 58. It mentions the bosons, leptons, fermions, etc., which are subatomic particles. These will be the stages of darkness that when we say the kamanu or the particle that we say now. Talking about the underwater. Matter of fact, I want to make this point real quick. These are stages of darkness. Nun ta nun, hof ta ho, nyat with nya, amun ta amun, tek tek tek, right? They are talking about the etheric side of things, etheric beings. Beings not meaning having a body, but being meaning existing. But yet, because these were etheric beings or etheric stages in darkness, if you were ascribed like Ani, we will be coming forth by day, coming forth by the point at dawn, or Egyptian book of the dead, you can't write or draw something invisible. Okay? So, in order to write the origin where we came from, which is ether, or ak, we would find something very similar here on the planet that symbolizes our beginning in the ethers. So the closest thing we can get to that is the waters. So that's why these beings are also mentioned as, if you read the last sentence in verse 99, I think this is how I watch question number 36. It says, these beings came to the planet Earth, yet he, meaning Amun, had no place to land because it was all covered by deep waters. Talking about he was going over the earth that had nowhere to land. The earth was water. Okay? So it says Murdoch or Amun, son of Enki or Ta. So they live beneath the waters as Kamunu, Ogdod, reptilian. So this describes why these etheric beings of existence are depicted as the Kamanu, reptilian, snake-headed beings and frog-headed beings that is thoroughly discussed, especially in the sacred wisdom of the Grand Hierophant Tehuti, or the sacred wisdom of Tehuti for sure. So this question, I think, Tehuti, hold on. This is what you were asking the other day, right? You know what we were talking about?
Yeah, as far as we were talking about how that
question. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that answer is on page. This there's no coincidence that this verse answers that question. That's the proof.
Okay, and that's from
the end of verse 90. Go ahead.
Which reference is that from?
Existence how why, class number 36, page 38, the ending of verse 99, where it says, Murdoch or Amun, son of Enki or Ta. So they live beneath the waters as Kamunu, Ogdod, reptilian.
Yeah, so they was with the original creation. Okay, go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, no, go ahead. That was with the original creation, yes. So these represent the stages of darkness as well as when they came on down in vibration from the air into the waters.
Right, coming through the 7 spheres.
That's right. That we call, to those 7 spheres, what would we call that then?
7 heavens.
That the Ruskians, go ahead.
I said 7 heavens.
I'm sorry, what did the Ruskians call that? It was almost like a rainbow. I'll give you a hint.
But yeah, I mean, that was saying the 7 spheres. I mean, you know, there's your ionosphere,
right.
Your stratosphere, your atmosphere, your
right.
Yeah, you can't think about it. I just call them the 7 heavens because each layer is a different abode per se because it's a different.
Right, it's a different
density. Each level is a different density. So, like as you come to Earth from outside of the Earth's atmosphere, you have to come through each of those atmospheres, and as you come through each one of those atmospheres, you become more and more dense, or whatever. So, you can exist in the higher, like in a higher density, a different vibrational rate, and exist still within the Earth's. Still be on Earth, but not necessarily be physical. You know, like for instance, or wind, or shawab. You can feel it, but you can't see it because it exists in a different density. Even though you can feel it, you can't see it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So these 7 spheres, you asked right. So these 7 spheres, it was also, when it was originally created, it was like a rainbow or an arc that pertains to Earth during the replenishing or creation process. And what did the Murzaku or Ruskians call this? What Hudi Harar explained. What did the Ruskians call this? I'll give y'all a hint. It's in the Secret of the Atamre, the black book. It starts with the B as in boy. I'll give you some more hints to narrow down your search. This rainbow effect was created as a marker also. That's with the B as in boy. When you see it, you're like, oh, man, I do that.
Okay, where in the black book is it? You know, I'm thinking, I'm probably thinking this.
I will see if I get it. If I tell you, it's gonna be too easy. Hey, let me get to my announcement. See if I can get it here. My Secretary of Atamre and my Secretary of Atamre, the black and gold books, they tore up. When they made these, they must have made the adhesive good enough because the pages just come out. Okay, for the sake of time, I was just trying to, I know that was like a real reach. I was just saying, having fun. The Murzaku, or Ruskians, made as a marker, as well as a dome, which is the spheres, called a buga. Buga. B-U-G-A. Buga. B-U-G-A. Buga. And this almost was like a rainbow in a sense. Let me try to find it.
Hey, now, I'm going to say this, but, that sounds a lot like a booger, like something that's up in your nose. I got you. B-U-G-A. A booger. I got you.
Okay. I'm looking for that reference now. My pages are, when I grab my scroll, all the pages are just loose. So I'm scrolling. But yeah, that's what it's called. It's called a booga. But all right. So real quick, so we don't run out of time, I'll make sure people get your questions in. Like I did promise that at the end we will take questions. Just real quick, I want to give you another reference. This is one of the many that, of course, we can all find. But just wanted to, as I'm looking, this is what came. Oh, it's symbolic of the iris of the eye, and the iris means rainbow, and it was the Rainbow Project. I'm getting close to it. Oh, there you go. Man, that's how nature works. Okay. Wow. Yeah, I need to write this down. I turned right to it. So, scroll number 4, verse 142. And it says, and how was that to be done? Well, let me go back a little bit. It says, just what is the Rainbow Project? That's verse 141. It is where the geneticists set out to breed or refill this planet with beings similar to themselves, or replenty, the earth, replenish the earth with humans, and protect their frail beings from the direct rays of the sun. Verse 142. And how was that to be done? By creating a buga, or curvature of spheres, as the rainbow is an arc of all 7 spectral colors appearing in the sky: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And these come from the direct rays of the sunlight broken down or bent as a bow. Are these symbolic of the spheres? Yes. You have your 7 spheres: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, ionosphere, exosphere, out and 7 outer space. Just as a rainbow has 7 colors, so does the environment. It also has 7 spheres to protect this newly created being from the ultraviolet and gamma rays coming from the sun. All right, so there it is right there. Boom. We turn right to it. So, there goes another reference to what we were talking about for the Muftaru, or the Kamanu, Ogdos. You can go to scroll number 4, verse 153 and on. It talks about the Muftaru, or the Kamanu, or the Ogdos. And this is all coming from the sacred tablets of Atum Reye, or for short, the Black Book. Anybody get that?
We start talking about the 8 Ogdos.
Right. That last reference, yeah. So right now, I know brother from the other brother had a question. You can go with your question now. Pranam Ray, uncle.
No, okay. I didn't know you. I actually forgot about the question. It's been a minute. Yeah, my bad.
Okay. All right, guys, have any questions? Repeat. Comments, additions. Is there anything that you maybe didn't understand, or about the flow of the class, or anything will help?
I do.
Yes.
I just needed, I don't want to say a brief, because I don't think there's anything brief about this knowledge, but just a breakdown of the pyramids of Giza again, because you did mention in terms of Apsu, Utu, and I just need you to repeat that again, please.
Okay. Well, actually, that wasn't me. I can't take credit for that. That was Uchi Harar. So if the brother wants to repeat it, I mean, I can, but he could. That's what he was saying, relaying.
Okay, she was asking, and you was asking about the relation between the 3 suns and the pyramids of Giza. Is that correct?
What?
Okay, if you go to the Holy Tablets to, let me see, that was our notes from Holy Tablets, pages 316 through 341, which is chapter 3, tablet 5. That whole section there is called the Doggone and the Serious Mystery. That whole tablet is dealing with the science of the pyramids in relation to Sirius, as well as with Sirius, which Sirius is where we're at now with Sabat. So that whole science behind the construction of the pyramids, why they were built, and their alignments, that's all mentioned in that portion. If you don't have a copy of the Holy Tablets, it is online. You can go to holytablets.nuwabianfacts.com, and the Holy Tablets are there.
Holy Tablets? Nuwabian?
Facts. That's Nuwabian with a B.
Wu-Nuwapu, okay.
Got Wu-Nuwapu Factions, all one word, .com.
Okay. Okay, brother. Tautak.
Oh, what's that, Jamal? Any other questions? For the end. Okay. So, normally what was originally going to happen, actually we were taken elsewhere in this class, which is good. This is what happens sometimes. It may not always be, okay, this class we do this, and the next class we pick up with. As you see, we did pick up because it started off with another symbol, which was the sun. But as you see, this sun took us, as big as our sun is, that's how big it took our studies today. So as you see, we're still on track. It's just, that was one symbol. We said we were going to do symbols today. So that was one symbol, and I'm sure we could have kept on going for 9 more hours. So as you see, keep on. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, last week you were teaching on the birth of religion. So are we going to continue off of that? Because I remember I had to get off of the call early.
Oh, okay. Well, that was one symbol, which was the 3 flags of the Memphis.
Oh, okay.
So we actually did cover that already. That's why we moved on to the next thing. But if you don't have that, if you need those references, I can relay some to you right now if you want some of them.
I have some of them. I know that I have the ones from before I hung up. So I have a good amount. I just need to get the book. I don't have the book, so.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay.
Fantastic. Any other questions? Okay.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Yes, dealing with Abzu, and speaking about, we're talking about darkness. I just wanted to know if they referring to their situation being on Titan, or because I was looking at the diagram, it said something about Titan.
Wait. Which diagram you talking about? Which diagram?
Well, it was on the page, the page before 17, chapter 17. Wasn't that the diagram that we were looking at?
Wait, the Holy Tablets, chapter 17, you said?
Yes, the page before it says something. I mean, I think on page 16 it was showing something about Titan. We're talking about Titan, where they were showing.
Well, hold on for one second. This way I can walk with you. So you're saying page 16? Oh, okay. The figure 4 planet, the planet Rum Titan. That's chapter 1, tablet 2. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just trying to find out. I mean, is that referring to like what is that referring to? As in like a specific place or what beings? Is that referring to like the Seraphim?
Okay, I see what you're saying. No, the planet Rum, it's a planet, and it's actually where Saturn is. Scientists will say, if Saturn has one of the moons, one of his many moons called Titan or Rum. Well, actually, it's the other way around. Rum is solid, so it's a planet. Because when you say planet, you're actually saying land. Okay? And Saturn, because it's still gaseous, it's still forming. So in the process of forming, it's solidifying. So that would be, Titan and Rum would be the actual planet, not the moon. Whereas Saturn is still forming. And the rings around Saturn before we get into the full answer, the rings around Saturn are actually small planets, as the master teacher was teaching us. Whereas scientists would tell you, excuse me, that it's just rock, ice, dust, etc. No, those are small little planets, all within that, making up that ring. That's why it's different colors. Like planets can also rock system. You have Venus, which is like an orangish. Mars is like a red. I think Jupiter that has multicolors. On and on and on. So the actual planet Ram is where as you said, the part of what you said was actually on point. If you refer to the Luciferian Conspiracies scroll, it talks about this information. It talks about how the spiritual Luciferians, when we were using that word, resided on Saturn, because Saturn is more gaseous, spirit, gas. Whereas the physical Luciferian beings were residing on Ram or Titan. So yes, that part of it is correct as far as it relating to disagreeable type beings. And that's mentioned in the Luciferian Conspiracies. Trying to find the page of it saying it. And Saturn is represented by blue, the colors blue and red. This is where the whole devil story was taken from, because Tarnush, in the ancient tablets, who was a disagreeable being who wanted to rule everything, got kicked out and fled from Saturn or the heavens down to the earth. Those colors that were represented during this act in these places was red and blue. Just how when we read Feeding the Forces, Actual Facts number 2, it mentions red is the blood, blue is the breath. These are the two things and two vibrational levels that these disagreeable spirit beings operate on, the blood and the air, which has the color red and blue. So it's no coincidence that their Jesus, if you go to Luciferian Conspiracies, page number 112, first paragraph, Jesus, who is also referred to as the early morning star, is always dressed in red and blue. The red is the sun and the blue is the water. The crown of the thorns worn by Jesus is the ring of fire, the halo. As his sun is eclipsed, you see a ring of fire. And as the appearance of the setting of their sun, the sun, God walks away. Okay? So it's no coincidence that disagreeable beings use the vibrational frequencies of red and blue, and their Jesus is depicted as wearing red and blue. You see what I mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was page 112. Now let me find you another thing. You got that?
It almost reminds me of the American flag.
Right. Yeah. So that story was also copied. That's what I wanted to say. This story was also copied from the Anunnaki story of two brothers battling. One was Amun, who later was called Anu, the Most High, and his brother T.D. who was also called Alalu.
Mm-hmm.
And when Alalu was, as they say, so-called defeated, which he really wasn't, it was a vote on Anu, because Alalu actually beat Anu in that wrestling match. Alalu fled and came down to here and handled business. So that also is a parallel, similar story to what we're talking about with Saturn and your question about Titan or Ram. Okay, so did I answer your question?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so that was the Holy Tablets, for references. That was the Holy Tablets, Chapter 1, Tablet 2, after verse 49, because the picture is on page 16, figure 4. And I cross-referenced that with Luciferian Conspiracies, page number 112, first paragraph. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Any more questions? Any comments that you want to see added to this class? So like I said, this is really only our second class in a sense, because the first one was just more like a trial just to see who's coming on, get your stuff prepared and organized. Well, very, very good class. As you see, the people who come on, it varies because this, you got to work. We're doing some diet. It's not just sitting, asking questions and teaching and this and that. We're actually, okay, we want to find that question out. Find out what let's study for it. So you'll see some people come on, some people going out, and, it kind of varies, if you know what I mean. So this is the class that's like the groundwork before the pretty stuff of just sitting in front of the class teaching with nice attire on and stuff like that, regurgitating information. This is the behind the lab. We're the scientists in the lab, mixing the chemicals and stuff like doing the hard work. So with this class, be patient and study diligently. And those are the main things, And let's keep it fun, let's not get so serious to where people are trying to outdo each other. No, we're all sharing information, references. That way we can go home, study them. We all get sharp at the same level, All right. So this is, once again, you all make the class. This is a very good class. Please continue to study. As you're studying, once again, please stop after every paragraph or page and make your references. So pretty soon, by next class, you may have 12 other pages in your reference binder, 12 other topics. So keep that technique going. All right, family, you all be safe. Have a wonderful shadow hour. Nafar Amun Wadu.